It's time for the Daily Stand Up Podcast presented by Agile Dad with your host, Lee Henson. Without any further ado, let's get started. One of the practices that I've been doing regularly is keeping a gratitude journal. Now, as part of this practice, one of the other things that I've been trying to do is anytime I hear a really good quote, anytime somebody tells me something, I'm like, oh, I want to remember that, whether it's something that's said directly to me or something that I read in passing. I like to write those down and keep a list of some of my favorite quotes. So I thought it'd be fun as we kick off 2023 and talk about all the exciting things that are happening, that I could share with you some of these quotes that have inspired or uplifted me and give you a little bit of pretext, context, or background about each one. So the first one I wanted to share with you came from the Dalai Lama. Now, obviously, I never met the Dalai Lama, but the quote says, the purpose of our lives is to be happy." So that makes total sense to me. If we're not here to be happy, then what are we here for? And I think that so many times in our life, we discount happiness. And I know it sounds crazy, but there's so many people on social media and other places that want to be in a negative headspace. And it makes me crazy. It makes me upset. But I'm grateful for people like the Dalai Lama who can remind us that, happiness is not overrated, that we should be happy and we should live happy. And that's one of my favorite ones from last year. Here's another. It says, "Life is what happens when you're busy making other plans." That one came from John Lennon. Now, obviously, I didn't meet John Lennon either, but it's funny because sometimes we get so busy planning that we forget that life is proceeding while we're planning. This is definitely one that relates to Agile quite a bit. But I just thought to myself, how many times and I'm guilty as charged here, how many times do I have to have the perfect plan, whether it's for a vacation or for a trip or for a place that we're going as a family or for a dinner date with my wife, whatever it is. I have to have everything planned, and sometimes life just happens while I'm in the moment, and we need to make sure that we understand that and that we get past it. This next one I wrote down. This was one that I saw, and I chuckled a little when I saw it. It was from Mae West. Now, obviously, I didn't get to meet Mae West either, but it says, "quote You only live once, but if you do it right, once should be enough." The more I think about that, if you are adding value and contributing to a greater cause, if you are in your zone, if you are that person who is looking out for others and trying hard to help ensure their success, then that's going to help you be in the right place. It's going to help you be right where you need to be. This next one I've written down here came from Thomas Edison. It said, "Many of life's failures are people who did not realize just how close they were to success when they gave up." Thomas Edison nailed it, right? This is just such a powerful quote. I think that so many people are so close to the finish line when they give up. This is one of those ones that just encourages me to stick with it, right? And it's just so important to know that if you stick with it, that you're probably so close to the finish line. Give it a chance. Don't stop short. Don't sell yourself short, right? And then, of course, I supported that one with this one. I put these two together. Here's one from Albert Einstein, another person I haven't met. "If you want to live a happy life, tie it to a goal, not to people or things." I thought that was interesting because a lot of what I do is goal setting. A lot of what I do is vision boarding. A lot of what I do is helping ensure that I know what direction I'm trying to move in and that I'm in a good space. So there's lots there. There's lots to unpack there, right? So that's another really good one. Okay. Here's one that came from a source that was interesting. I don't know that I don't know that I would have picked this one if I had known who the source was, but it's interesting. So here we go. "Money and success don't change people; they merely amplify what is already there." And that one came from Will Smith. So like I said, mixed review on Will Smith. I think as the genie, he was fantastic, but I think that he's just a few French fries short of a Happy Meal, right? So he doesn't have a full serving of 8 crayons. But good good quote. The more you think about it, money and success isn't what changes people, but it amplifies who they really are. So I think sometimes when you are living a certain way, you will use the money and success for good. But sometimes when you're not, it just amplifies the negativity. Okay. Here's one that I love. So I'm only going to give you a few more, but here's one that I absolutely love. It says, your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. That quote was from Steve Jobs. I can't help but think to myself, he knew when he was sick that his time was limited, but he never lived in someone else's shadow or moment. He always wanted to be on top of what was happening. I just think that's awesome, right? I just think it's such a powerful way to live your life. And if you can get there, that's going to help you be where you need to be. Here's another one about success. It says the whole secret of a successful life is to find out what is one's destiny to do and then do it. That one came from Henry Ford. So I talk a lot about Henry Ford in my trainings and the man that he was. And I love that quote. That's just a really, really powerful quote to me. That the secret to a successful life is obviously to find out what your destiny to do and get it done. Right? Don't just let life pass you by while you're dreaming of your destiny. Love it, love it, love it. There's just so much power in these quotes. These quotes are designed to help you and to help me find ways to turn words into wisdom. I'm going to close with this last one. This is a very, very powerful one to me. And it comes from someone that makes me smile every time I see her name. This one comes from a young lady named Dolly Parton. And she said, the way I see it is if you really want the rainbow, you got to put up with the rain. And I think too often in life, we look for rainbows, but we don't celebrate when it rains because the rain is what brings the rainbow. And it just reminds me that, without opposition in all things, we wouldn't have the positive. If you didn't know the sour or bitter, you wouldn't know the sweet. If you didn't know the cold, you wouldn't know the warmth. So it's one of those things where you have to have the antithesis in order for the other to make sense. If light wouldn't matter if there was no darkness, right? But I love the way that Dolly put that. It just brings it all together. And I guess what I'm trying to encourage you to do for part of 2023 is, if you don't already do this, anytime you see a quote that resonates or stands out to you, throw it in your journal, whether it's your personal journal or your gratitude journal. Throw it in there at the top of a page, because what I can tell you is over time you'll build a wealth of these amazing, wonderful quotes, and you'll be able to present those and share those with your friends. You'll be able to go back and relook at them. What I can tell you is that these are quotes that energize me and excite me and put me in the right headspace. And they get me thinking with more open mind, so that on those days when I do have a rainy day, I know that the rain's okay because the rainbow's on the way, or whatever the case may be. But it helps you to stay focused, it helps you to stay driven, and it helps you to remember what's important in life. So that's going to do it for today. I hope you have an amazing weekend. Until next week, I encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Do take care.